Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody here this evening. We're going to start with our consent items. We have the minutes of the November 30th, 2015 regular meeting, the certification of November 30th, 2015 executive session, and the minutes of the December 2nd, 2015 study session. Are there any additions or corrections? If not, entertain a motion to approve the minutes and certification.
So moved.
Motion by Lisa,
Second.
second by Sandy. Any other discussion? All in favor? Right hand. Motion carried 7-0. Financial report.
Yes. With our general fund, we closed out November 30th with $470,194.88. Last year at this time, we had $744,985.46. Keeping in mind, two things have happened. The retro pay, which occurred in the month of October. The other substantial hit this time will be paying off the end of first semester stipends to teachers. And so after this point in time, you will see not a huge increase, but it will be a steady increase then from this point forward. Until we get ready, and Clint's very much aware, until we get all of the state reports, and then we pay the teachers retroactively. And then again, you will see that happen, and then it will begin to climb. With our debt service fund, we closed out November with $1,069,932.37. Last year at this time, we had $1,570,767.48. Capital projects, we closed out November with $270,963.75. Last year at the same time, we were negative $183,122.05. Again, I believe I spoke at the midpoint that we were, at the midpoint we were in the negative, and we really wanted to watch that. So we've been working very closely with the tech department, with maintenance, with the building level secretaries and everybody to shut down that ordering and making sure where we are and closing out POs. So I believe we'll stay away from that negative sign this year, which is a good thing for us. Transportation fund, we closed out with $668,625.81. Last year at this time, we had $567,938.94. And then finally, with our bus replacement fund, we closed out with $296,561.09. Last year at this time, there was $86,656.81. But soon, Michael, there's at least one bus at Curlin that we're waiting on the decals and everything
Yeah,
to be
they
put
call
on.
about, or text about the number that goes on it, so that means it's coming up the pike.
So pretty soon we'll
Between
be
here and
releasing
North
those
Carolina.
funds to pay for that bus, so you'll
Yeah.
start to see that. There's one large size bus ordered and
Yeah.
then one Z2, one of the smaller buses. So as those come in, that had already been approved to pay those, so you'll see that fund begin to decline.
Any questions?
I have a question. Was that part of the board packet? Those funds?
It
the
was not, I did
balances?
not have that.
It wasn't in the board packet?
I can get copies to everybody.
All right. I'll just watch it on TV.
Okay, all right.
Any other questions?
But to reiterate, the reason the general fund is so low is because of the third payment in October and then stipends making that clean as up.
Mid-year.
Okay.
And again, when we start to climb, it's going to be a slow climb back up, but we will eventually get there again until we release for the teachers.
Okay, if there's no further questions, need a motion to approve the financial report.
So moved.
Okay, motion by Jenny,
I'll second.
and a second by Lisa. Any other discussion? All in favor, right? Okay, motion carried 7-0. Okay, resolutions.
There are two resolutions that I'm going to respectfully ask that the board read through. The very first one is a prepayment resolution. What this helps our business office do is that between this date and the end of the year, there will be bills that come in, and rather than us have a late payment or interest charge, those types of things. It would be the board's approval to go ahead and pay those and keep those up to date at year-end closing. And then in the January session, we would provide to you all of those payments that we went through and made so that you would be fully aware of that. But it helps us not incur late fees or interest charged between now and when our next board meeting is with the year-end closing. We start to get those from different vendors and companies that want their payments by the end of the year, so this would allow us to go ahead and pay those.
And this is something we've done every year.
Every year, it's standard procedure. And then the resolution to close the 2015 year end would be making sure part of what the business office needs to do, or with appropriations and line items, those types of things, we cannot close anything out that's in the red. So for example, if you have an insurance budget line and you've broken that down into the dental and then health and those medical types of things, if dental is $50 minus, but medical has that extra, you start moving those funds so that we can balance everything out and close it out. And again, those will be given to you. And this is a standard operating procedure, just to make sure that every line is zeroed out. Is that, yeah.
Okay. Board, you've had the opportunity to read the resolutions. Any questions? Now I'll need a motion to approve the prepayment resolution and the resolution to close the 2015 year end.
So moved.
Okay, motion by Sandy
I second that.
and second by Steve. Any other questions? All in favor, right hand. Okay, motion carries 7-0. Okay, student stakeholder focus, donations. Townhome Furnishings, a chair for RMS Parent Center. New Holland and Smith Farms, drawstring bags, holders, and pencils. Grace United Methodist Church, $98 to high school nurse to purchase clothing and other materials needed in nurse's office.
And then we had the Disciple Women of First Christian Church brought in today 2 large bags of undergarments for the ladies. Probably between 5th and 8th grade are who those are going to benefit, but a huge thank you to them. I know that that's an important part of what we need to help provide for our students. So the Disciple Women of First Christian Church brought those in this afternoon.
Okay. Any questions?
I do have a question. The drawstring bags, holders, and pencils, what are these and who are they for?
New Holland just wanted to donate those, to my understanding, to Columbia Elementary. I do believe that they do have their logo on it, but it was an effort to help kids. Sometimes I think that they don't have the backpack to carry things out, and it's a way to throw all of their papers and everything into.
Any other questions? Need a motion to approve the donations.
So moved.
Okay, motion by Brad, second? Second. Okay, second by Don. Any other questions? All in favor, right hand. Okay, motion carries 7-0. Notice of an overnight field trip approval for FFA due to the timing.
Adam sent over, and I included a copy of his letter of apology. There was, Justin Pearson had thought that he turned in an overnight request for a field trip. It was for the winter chapter retreat, and as we were going through verifying buses, realized that maybe he didn't get that turned in, and so Adam worked with myself and transportation so that we could get those students to the winter chapter retreat. It was an overnight event, but I didn't, if we had waited for this evening's board meeting, we would not have been able to make that. So in an effort to be transparent, I went ahead and approved that, and we got those kiddos down there for their winter retreat.
Okay, we'll go ahead and approve the notice. Have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve Jan's decision.
Okay, motion by Don, second by Sandy.
Can we find out if all the kids got home and everything?
We're okay on that one?
That went okay?
Justin always
Took them down and
does
brought them
They
back.
all came back.
he always does a nice job with those field trips. If it had been questionable, I wouldn't have, but he does a great job with the kids.
Okay, we have a motion second. All in favor? Okay, motion carries 7-0. Information and analysis, policy and procedures.
We're
we have a new packet that we need to start, but we will start on that in our January study session.
Oh, yay.
So we're looking forward to it.
Bring food.
A little bit of a reprieve when we get the next packet.
Okay, adoption of the 2016-17 school calendar.
Again, I included copies we had brought to the board last board meeting. There was a request to put out a survey, and we closed that out at noon today. At that point in time, there were 52 responses. 73% were in favor of calendar A, which is the more traditional calendar, the one that we are used to following. 27% were in favor of the second proposed, which actually pushed fall break up earlier into October. So those are your survey results in regards to that. And I included a copy of the sheet. At the time, there were 50 respondents, but at noon today, there were 52.
So what's the start date of A and B?
The start dates did not change. Essentially, the only difference between the two was when fall break was going to occur.
Right, I meant the start fall break, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
So
With
what is-
choice A, fall break would start on September 13th. Choice B, fall break was going to start on October 6th.
So
Did
the
both
real
of those-
changes in 1 week.
Okay. Did both of those miss the PSAT, or one of them had a conflict with the S?
Actually, we were hoping with choice B, that helps. It's not that the PSAT isn't offered on an alternative date, it's offered again, which we could schedule. The administrative team, the teachers really liked calendar B because it aligns better with testing, with end of 9 weeks, with release of grades, combines well with the IHSAA calendar and eligibility. So I think if you were to ask teachers and administrators, we would have gone with choice B, but the survey was overwhelmingly for choice A.
And I would say that we didn't really publicly advertise the survey. I mean, not that we were hiding it, it was on the front page of our website. However, the staff received an email, so I would think that, I don't know who responded, but I would take a gather that there were probably a decent number of staff that did respond to that.
Okay, now, you first said that A.
Right, this is
Yeah,
choice A.
was September 13th.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, I'm
actually
sorry, October 13th. I'm
Because I
sorry.
thought, oh, that's awfully
Yeah,
early.
I'm sorry, October 13th.
So basically, this is just a snapshot of, I mean, did the public really know that they had a chance to vote on this or look at it or offer an opinion? I mean, I know it was in the
We
paper.
had it on the website, we talked to WROI about advertising. I know the Sentinel was here with the last board meeting when we asked for the survey.
We never got it in. Now I know how well you read the paper.
And to be fair, can we bump this, and be honest, obviously you will, you always have it, can we bump this back a month so we can get public input on it? Or is it, do we need to get this done?
I would say that I hope we don't, because I know that there are many people that for their work have to have their vacations in for the following year at year end.
So this is for
Some
next
people have
fall?
to- So I really feel like in the future, it will be nice. I think that we'll have more of a flow. We'll be able to approve these even sooner, because approving them just 8 months out is kind of hard.
Educationally, which one is the best?
Well, educationally, we like choice B better, but in all fairness to families and vacations, if they go with the standard traditional calendars we've done in the past and we worry about attendance, and if they've already scheduled those, it would behoove us to stay with the choice A for this period of time until we can better communicate. Otherwise, we may not have the kiddos in the building.
And I would also say that part of what I heard in the community and with staff was that this current year that we are in, 2015-16, the fall break was too late, because that was 11 weeks in. Neither of these are that late. Both of these are
We tried
earlier
to-
than this year.
We tried to rectify that in both.
Yeah, and I appreciate it. I know there's a lot of work that goes into this.
Right, I didn't mean to dismiss that either. I just,
Oh.
if the public didn't get a chance to, I want them to, but I see your point about vacations. Mr. Gard, is that pretty much the trend you're seeing with the teachers too?
Well, no, I mean, the teachers, The teachers want B.
Won't be.
Teachers want B. I mean, just for the semester, for athletics, for, bringing kids back, educationally speaking, we just feel like that's a much better. And, to be quite frank and honest, the people who have already said it, no matter when we schedule it, kids are going to miss. We notice every year there's more and more families, if we give them 2 weeks, they're going to take the week before that. If we give them 10 days, they're going to
That's true.
take 2 days before
The
those.
Thursday, Friday before.
So no matter what, they're going to take extra time.
If they've already scheduled, they're going to take it.
They're going to take it anyway. I mean, it doesn't, that's just the nature of the beast, and parents do that. So, spring break rolls around, and inevitably, well, we're leaving a week early. You got 2 weeks. So I don't know that really makes a big difference. I think either way, we're going to run into that problem. So,
Both of these have the 9 weeks ending at a different time. So if we would go with the earlier calendar, the first 9 weeks is 8.5 weeks, and the second 9-week grading period is 9.5 weeks. If we go with calendar A, the first 9-week grading period is 9.5 weeks, and the second one is 8.5 weeks. So for me, I also look at that and say, are the grades going to be equal as much as possible? Because I would think that you would want more time, since it can't be exactly the same, it's 9.5 versus 8.5, whichever way we flip it. So I would think that you would want more time at that first chunk, because those first few days, it's a lot of routine and setting expectations and those kinds of things, where by the time you're starting that second group of 9 weeks, you're rolling. So that is tied to the difference in the fall break, because the 9 weeks would end differently depending upon when we chose to fall break.
I'm concerned at this point that we are going to do what this handful of people from the public have said works best for them because of their vacations or what have you. And by doing so, we are dismissing what our administrators say is best for our kids and what our teachers say is best for our kids. Sometimes I think this is not for a popular vote. I think that we owe it to our administrator, our superintendent, our administrators, and our teachers to support them in what they feel like is the best environment and calendar for them to teach with. So I personally would rather see the second option if that's what you feel is better educationally.
I agree with that. We are, after all, an educational system.
I'll make the motion that we accept calendar B.
And I will second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Brad, second by Lisa. Accept calendar B. Any other discussion? All in favor? Right. Okay, we've got 5 opposed to 2. Okay. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Okay, the 401A change of provider.
And I respectfully ask Clint to be here for part of this discussion with RCTA. One of the first things I heard when I stepped into the office was that there was concern about our current 401A provider and that they weren't providing service. We could not get them down here to meet with teachers. They weren't returning phone calls. There were a lot of concerns about investments and just we have a younger population. It seems like we have a lot of younger teachers who need to be thinking about long-term planning, and then we have a handful that are getting ready to retire, and we just weren't being provided the services that we felt that was deserved of our employees. So at that point in time, we started inviting in, I think we had 3 or 4 different providers come into the table. We narrowed it down to 2, and I think that we had them in for second and third round interviews. And we collectively have looked at Security Benefit as becoming our new provider. Harold Welter would be our local representative. He is from Knox. He wants to be here. He wants to meet with the teachers. This does not change anything that we do at the corporation level. It's more of a service that we would provide to the teachers. So Clint, if you would like to speak on behalf of our CTA, I would open that up for you as well.
I think it will be a great change. I know there's a lot of frustration from teachers of not being able to get service, and I felt like we were all very impressed with home we chose. So I think it'll be a great change for us.
And this would take a lot of communication on both of our parts. We've talked about how we're going to organize bringing those teachers into the meetings, making sure they have the opportunity to meet with that financial advisor, making sure that we continue to provide those services moving forward. So we are ready to do that, and I think that the teachers will be appreciative of that change.
We need a motion on that change, or is that just entertain a motion for the change of provider?
And we would request security benefit be our provider with Harold Welcher be our local representative.
Okay. Motion? Okay, motion by Sandy, second?
I second that.
And a second by Steve. Any other discussion? All in favor? Okay, motion carried 7-0. Constructions update.
Scott, do you mind putting on? So if everybody, as this is a time of giving, we want to show you, we have been working with AMBA, and I want to first of all thank Kurt Fletcher and Randy Rampola and Ted Wagner, because there was a lot that went on behind the scenes, and in fact hours where they were helping me understand and coaching me and talking to me about the community and how that plays in. So we were really excited after the bids went out last week, and I was so excited I called Ted right away. I think it was probably off his hour, so I hope we don't get that bill. But anyway, the board had approved up to a 5% interest rate for our bonds. Everything that we relayed to the community, and you can see it up here, it's not real well, but everything we had relayed to the community when we were putting out cost analysis and those types of things was at a 4.359%, and our bond sold for 2.819%. So there was a lot behind the scenes, and I'm so thankful that they were there to help coach me and work with me on that. So really, this is, I know when you're spending money, it's hard to say that you're saving money, but in the interest from what we first proposed and what we're going to now have, that's a $2,048,063 savings in the interest alone. And then in the lease agreement, it's $115,000 savings to our taxpayers, to our district, to the rate. So we are very excited about that. So in the spirit of giving, we were able to not only do what we need to do for our schools and for our districts, but it came in much lower than we had anticipated and advertised. So yes, thank those gentlemen. So with that being said, I think that, Ted, we have two contracts that we need to speak to the board about in regards to moving forward.
Right. The two other sets of, well, the analysts, UMBA, has a contract here. We have always operated on the handshake until we get to the point where it's time to pay bills, and then we have to, of course, have it documented. UMBA is a CPA firm that does this kind of accounting for construction projects all across the state. Started in Plymouth, but it's now a statewide company. And Kirk Fletcher has been the man to come down with us regularly. It's a 6-page contract, I believe. But services provided, which include follow-up services, annual services that they will provide for setting up the bonds and getting that taken care of. Their fees are $53,000, and then they'll have hourly rates for continuing disclosures. You may remember a couple years ago we had to go through some continuing disclosure language because the Securities Exchange Commission has changed the rules on continuing disclosure. If we are ever late on a payment, we have to disclose that for the next 5 years so the bondholders know we're not trustworthy. We've got that all cleared up now. So their contract would be $53,000. Bakery, Baker & Daniels is the bond counsel firm. There are about 5 firms in the state that bonding companies have agreements with that they will allow the lawyers to review the paperwork and sign the documents. Faegre Baker Daniels is one of those companies, and Randy Rampola has been the lawyer that we've worked with, partner there. Their fees are based on an hourly fee that range from $220 to $550 an hour, but their fees are capped not to exceed $40,000. And so, because these contracts, they're standard contracts, but they are over $25,000, so we need a motion to approve both contracts because the final transaction has not taken place yet, and so they could still screw up the whole deal if we don't hire them to do the work they've done. So we would ask you to approve those two contracts. Jana has already signed off on my contract because it came in under the $25,000 limit, but she's got the authority to sign for standard contracts to the corporation.
Okay. Any more questions? Any motion to approve the contracts?
So moved.
Motion by Sandy.
I'll second.
Second by Lisa. Any other discussion?
What was that last comment about your contract?
It came in under the $25,000 contract authority that the superintendent has under the board.
So it's above and beyond as usual?
Oh, it's above and beyond the
Because it's
usual.
a bond?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah, all
Thanks,
right.
Steve. Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, this is a separate
Okay.
contract over and above the
Okay,
normal
thank you.
retained.
So are these 40,000 each or 40,000 together for the two contracts? You said Umbach?
Faegre Baker Daniels is capped at 40. Umbaugh's will be 53,000 plus annual work on top of that.
Okay.
And that's why, you know, when we sit down and talk to you about, okay, there's $9.9 million, don't spend more than $7.5 million, this is a tiny piece of that compared to the architect's fees and all the other engineering fees and everything else that also come out as part of the soft costs.
Okay.
Would you say those are usual and customary prices that we're paying?
Yes, they are.
Any other questions? Okay, we have motion and second. All in favor? Okay, motion carries 7-0. Thanks, Ted. Substitute pay increase.
Well, if I may, there's one last thing that we would like to talk about in regards to construction, because Scott Kistler would like to talk a little bit about our technology system. At one time, we had anticipated that we would have bond monies to do that. We do not, nor have we. So in a good faith effort, we've been trying to save money and know where this money's going to come from. And I apologize to the new board members. This was a situation that started the fall of my first year here. So he's going to kind of bring us up to speed, and then we'll ask for support in regards to that. So.
Right now, currently, we have a VM server that we had tried to update just this last summer, but we found out that we're a couple versions behind, and so we tried to go through them to update this server, and we found out that our hardware cannot handle the new software. So with that, we now need to look at a new server to house all of our 20 virtual servers that run pretty much our whole corporation. And so to get back up to speed, and we would be looking at a bigger server that would have more hard drive space and memory to house everything that we do for the corporation. So, and the cost was about $160,000, and we are looking at. I'm working with Denise and Jana and finding some money that hopefully we should be able to have the cost with recouping from some of the other things that we have open out there that we aren't going to be spending the money on, that we should be able to come up with the money for this server.
And a thank you to Joe McCarter and RTC. They came in and provided some of their tech guys to have a different set of eyes and ears on the situation and help make those recommendations to us as well. So they were at a table with us on a couple of different occasions, talking to us about our specific needs so that we could kind of grow into them without spending the money, and then 2 years from now knowing that we may need something. So this provides that space that we believe that we would need.
Yeah. And our current server is about 8 years old too.
But you think you'll be able to come up with the money from other places?
Yes.
It's not going to take a hit to our capital fund projects, right?
Well, it would come out of capital projects, but what we have been able to do is go through, and as we are looking at programs and evaluations, we're closing out some of those POs for those things that we don't need or we don't anticipate renewing, and setting aside those funds and putting it towards something we know that we do need. So we've really been evaluating line by line all of those programs and services.
Yeah, what kind of dollar figure that is?
Right now, we have about, I think we're at around 60,000 that we've recouped, so.
Thank you.
Now, we'll be set as far as size for, I know it's hard to tell, but for a few
Right.
years
Well,
anyway.
Yes, that's what we're hoping for. I mean, we don't know in the future, but we've probably doubled the size that we currently have, so. And we're not at full capacity right now, so we should be good for quite a few years.
So you're comfortable with that size, because now's the time to make
Yes.
sure,
Yeah,
you know, it's
we're-
less
we're-
expensive now than
Yeah.
later, so,
Yeah, we've gone double, so
okay.
I'm hoping that will be fine in the next few years.
And so the total quote was 159,000. Is that what it looked like?
Yeah, that's what it is.
I was going to ask, is the old server, is that valued when, do you scrap it or do you sell it, or if it's functioning, is it worth
I mean,
anything?
we can find other people if they want to take a look at it, and we could, you guys can consider it scrap, and then we could either sell it or find out if there's anybody that would like to purchase it, but, you know, I'm not sure if it has to go to like auction type, so you're not probably gonna get a whole lot for it. I have been trying to talk to HP about trade-in value too on this old version, and they haven't given me anything back on that yet.
Thank you.
How much headroom do you think, I mean, if the new software won't run on what we have, and we get double, you said double, how much surplus of computational space do we have, would you say?
Well, it's, I mean, well, it's kind of,
Kind of a hard question.
yeah, not really sure. I mean, it's, we are at pretty close to capacity now, but so with doubling it, we should be covering everything that the students would have, and the faculty and everything, and plus adding new servers too. It seems like we're always adding new servers for whatever programs are coming out.
And I think one of the integral parts of this is the backup system as well.
And the backup system, yeah,
Which we
that's part of
have,
it too.
which we have had some problems with in the recent
Right.
past.
Any other questions? Any motion to approve the technology upgrade?
I move we approve the technology upgrade.
Okay. Motion by Steve, second by Sandy. Any other discussion? All in favor, right hand, please. The motion carries 7-0.
And if I may just take
Thanks,
a few
Scott.
minutes to thank Denise as well. She has been wonderful trying to bring everything back into alignment and communicating and helping us through these needs. So we appreciate her work on that as well.
Good. Okay, substitute pay increase.
In an effort to be competitive with schools in our area, there have been times when we have subs who have been booked for Rochester schools for the day, and then they get a call from a different school, and they're willing to travel a little bit more for extra pay. I would respectfully ask, we currently pay $50 a day for subs who have a high school diploma, $60 a day for those with 2-year degrees, $65 for a 4-year degree. I would like to see us bump that up to be competitive with the local schools. That would not exceed anybody in our area, but would just put us right even with them at $70 a day for those with high school diplomas, $80 a day for those with a 2-year degree, and $85 for those with a 4-year degree. I'm hoping that will alleviate some of the frustration we're experiencing in some of those building levels. I'm not naive. I don't think it's going to take care of it completely, but it at least puts us in a competitive market to bring those hubs here and to keep them here for our principals and our teachers during the day. If we had done this this semester, it would have cost us right around $11,000, which in my mind is, I know that that's an amount of money, but our general fund can handle that, and I think the benefit to the building levels is going to far exceed that. So I would like this to be beginning January 1st, note those pay increases.
Any questions? Okay, I need a motion to approve the substitute pay increase.
I move we accept the substitute pay increase as
Okay.
stated.
Motion by Lisa.
Second.
Second by Sandy. Any other discussion? All in favor? Okay, motion carried, 7-0. Personnel report. Hirings. Delina Jackson, temporary second grade, to fill in for Alyssa Ramsey's maternity leave starting December 14th, 2015. Maternity leave, Alyssa Ramsey, Columbia second grade. Change of dates, December 2nd, 2015 to February 29th or March 14th, 2016. Amy Barton, Riddle fourth grade, January 6th through the remainder of the school year. And resignations, Barbie Rupp, middle school instructional assistant, last day will be December 11th, 2015. Are there any others?
I would also request, while Tammy McMahon is out on a medical leave, that we move Jason Snyder into an interim principalship at Columbia until further notice.
Okay. Any questions? Need a motion to approve the personnel report.
So moved.
Motion by Brad,
Second.
second by Don. Any other discussion? All in favor? Okay, motion carried 7-0. Contract renewals for administrative team.
First of all, respecting the teacher contracts and things that Clint and I have been speaking about in the recent past. Teachers are currently on a status quo contract of where they were last year. We're waiting on the state to release the data so that we can complete their evaluations with the student growth and achievement piece as part of that. With our collective bargaining agreement, it has already been approved by the board that those teachers who are highly effective would receive a pay increase. Those who are effective would receive the 1% increase. In the same respect, Clint and I have been talking about releasing a status quo contract, and Clint, I haven't had a chance to share with you. Ted, will you share a little bit of your expertise about they're currently on that status quo contract, but I want to make sure we're relieving teachers' anxieties as well.
Teachers are on a contract that automatically renews unless it's terminated before the renewal process begins, and that begins before the start of the school year. So the board, having not terminated anybody, puts them on a renewal or a status quo contract. They will get, the teachers who qualify for a raise will get a raise and will be paid retroactive to the start of the school year once the state tells us what we pay. And so they are on a status quo contract at the current time. They're getting the same pay they got after the pay rates were approved last year, which was at about this time. So everybody is, if they want a status quo contract, they've got that. If the board signs something now and then turns around next month or a month and a half from now, the state gives us some information, then we've just got more paper cluttering, more files, and not much has been accomplished. And I'm afraid we may have, that's when the typos occur and hard feelings happen. So, the board could reassure them, but they've got all the reassurance legally that they need, that the board's satisfied with the teachers and what they're doing, and fully intends to pay them what they qualify for. It wasn't the board that came up with the new 4-pay arrangement for teachers. So I think I'll let the two of you work out any other details about that, but that's the process. Teachers are valuable members of the team here, and the board would love nothing better than to give them their pay raises in August or September or even October, but it seems like the state now says you can do it in January or February, or when the legislature gets done at the end of middle of March this year, I guess. So
And those are retroactive?
They will be.
Yeah, pay raises will be retroactive to the start of the school year.
In the same respect, administrative contracts, we have to work under a different timeline in regards to contract renewal and dates differently than the teachers need to. So I would like to propose 2-year contracts for Adam Strasser, Chris Kiesling, Jim Swank, Kathy Wilkinson, and Brenda Troyer, and a 1-year contract to Brian Emmert, Tammy McMahon, Ryan Helt, and Michael Rohr for the 2015-2016 school year.
Jana, can you explain for everybody how those years work?
Sure.
The 1 year will...
The 1 year covers the academic year 2015-2016, and on June 30th, then those contracts expire. The 2-year contracts, we would be looking at 2015-2016 academic year, so the year that we are currently in, and then also asking the board to approve those that I recommend for a 2-year contract to extend that to the 2016-2017 school year. There are a handful of contracts, Oscar being one of those, Cassie Murphy, Pat Mellinger is here as well. They were approved in July, so those have already been taken care of, and we've kind of staggered the administrative team, but these are the ones that legally come up, and we have to have all of this paperwork taken care of in the immediate.
Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, I'll need a motion to approve contract renewals.
Do we need a motion to take Jana's off?
Yeah.
First.
Jana's name shows up here. The board, I think, is interested in removing her name from consideration due to the requirement that changes in contracts must be published prior to the board action. So I think, when the motion is made, it should be for everybody except Jana, who's on the list,
So we don't have to make a specific motion to take hers off necessarily, it's just a specific motion.
just as part of the motion.
I move that we accept the terms as presented here for Adam Strasser, Chris Kiesling, Brian Emmert, Tammy McMahon, Ryan Helt, Jim Swank, Kathy Wilkinson, Michael Rohr, and Brenda Troyer.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Jenny and a second by Lisa. Any discussion? All in favor? Right. Okay, motion carried, 7-0. Superintendent business.
There will be a school reach going out this evening to everybody at approximately 8 o'clock, just as a gentle reminder that Christmas break starts December 30th. Tuesday is our last day of school with the students, and then they return on Tuesday, January 5th. So we've just outlined that again to parents to make sure that they understand that we are in session next Monday and Tuesday, as well as a gentle reminder. We have breakfast with the board this Thursday at McDonald's beginning at 7:30, and we've asked to be there from 7:30 to 8:30. And Lisa Lee and Tom Schwenk will be joining me for that breakfast. And our next study session, including the organizational meeting for the board, is scheduled at this point in time for January 6th, 2016, when we return.
Okay.
And I believe that's all I have.
Thank you, Jen. This time, open up to any community concerns, any questions, any comments from the community. Anything from the board? If not, I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and we'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you for coming. Merry Christmas.